let me see here. If I all right, we are now recording. Hope that is okay with everyone. Okay. Well, I'm Susan Hendricks, and we are the Glacier Bay team. And I just wanted to say hello and thank you so much for joining us. We're very excited to start the school year with your child. We know it's a little different, looks a little different, feels a little different, but you know, we're all in this together and we're doing a great job so far. So I just want to thank you so much for your time. I know time is precious and you being able to spend your time with us, we really appreciate that. I do just want to ask that, and I think most of us have done that, you mute yourselves, video is off except for the teachers, so that way we can kind of get through this and give you the information that you need. But I just want to let you know that we're off to a great start. The kids are really actually doing a great job and just excited to start the school year with them. Anyway, we're going to start off with some introductions. And so I guess two other things just to say is during this time period, we all just need to be flexible and patient with one another, communicate definitely. If anything's happening at home or, you know, kids are struggling, you know, we're definitely open. So just communicate, let us know, email. We're more than happy, you know, to work with you, work with your child to kind of help them be successful. We know it's a different time period, and so we're flexible to do that. So I just wanted to, you know, just put that out there as well. But I'll go ahead and start. I am Mrs. Hendricks, Susan Hendricks. So I am the social studies teacher on Glacier Bay. I'm also the team lead for the team. So if you have any team related questions, you know, about the team or general questions, things like that, you know, a parent meeting, something like that, then please send those emails to me. If you have any questions after tonight, please email me as well so we can answer them. If you have a specific subject question like math, language, arts, science, please direct those to those teachers because I would love to answer them, but I probably am not going to give the right answer. So I would email those teachers. But anyway, so I'm Susan Hendricks. I teach social studies. I've been teaching for, this is my 23rd year with Noblesville Schools. So there we go. And whoever wants to go next.
Abby.
Oh, okay. I'm Abby McKean and I teach your children language arts. And this is my 18th year teaching total and my 10th year at Noblesville West Middle School.
Amanda.
Hi everyone, I'm Amanda Kennedy. I am one of the 6th grade resource teachers. This is my 9th year teaching and my 4th year here at West. And I will be working with students, anybody that has an IEP, and I am co-teaching with Mrs. McKean in the language arts classroom.
Courtney.
Hi, I'm Courtney Hampton. I'm the EL collaborative teacher. So this is my first year in this role and at West. I've my 4th year teaching, and I work with students who speak more than one language. So I am in almost all of their classrooms at some point.
Brad.
Hi, I'm Mr. Howard, and I teach math on our team. I've been teaching, this is my 29th year. I've been around the district a little bit. Thank you, Mr. Shelp. I've been around for a while. I've been at Yorktown, Raleigh, New York, back here. Great to be home, great to be a Miller. I teach also with Amy Williams. She's my co-teacher in math, and she'll be in and out in math, and it's a great partnership. So she helps all kids in my classroom as well.
Hi, parents. I'm Andy Shelp. I teach science on Glacier Bay, and this is my 21st year of teaching. And I couldn't be happier with the people I teach with. They're friends. I respect them, and we've been teaching together for a long time. Your kids have been great. We're off to a great start. So thank you.
All right. Amy didn't pop on, did she?
No, that's why I introduced her.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure.
Run into college today.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
I just want to make sure I wasn't missing anybody. Okay.
Do you want to talk about Jessica Clark real quick?
Did she pop in?
No, but we should introduce her, yes.
So Jessica Clark, she is our 6th grade counselor. And the slideshow that we're going to present to you tonight at the very bottom is the contact information. So if you ever need to get a hold of our counselor, so Jessica Clark, 6th grade counselor, her information will be at the bottom of our last slide on the contacts. So thank you, Mr. Shelp, for.
You're welcome, thank you.
And she'll be your child's counselor through 8th grade. So the counselor goes up with the kids. So that's kind of their consistent person, if that makes sense.
All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. I'll move you guys over here. All right, so this is the parent information that I sent to you earlier. So some of you might have had a chance to look at it. Some of you may not. So we're just going to go ahead and go through this. So those are things we're going to talk about: team expectations, Power School, and then some of the other items we're going to kind of let you read on your own that are at the bottom. There's just a picture. You obviously can see us now because we're here. We don't have masks on. So obviously the kids only see us with masks. So it's a little different. So anyway, now you have a chance to kind of see what we look like. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the Glacier Bay Daily News. So one of the biggest things about with parents, you guys are always asking, well, how do we know what their homework is? How do we know what they're actually supposed to be working on? And so basically, I think Mr. Howard and I both have sent you links to the Daily News. It's also in the bottom of my email. It's also in this PowerPoint here. I had the students make a button on their iPad. And so they have this. So every day when they're in SLT or when they're at home, they can click on the button. It's updated daily. So as you can see, it's the homework daily slide. I put this together a few days ago, so that's why this is an older one. But basically, the students use this every day to keep track of their assignments, both at school and at home. We'll notice that it is divided by Millers and West. So obviously, they just simply need to look to see. And then every day, it just shows them what are they supposed to be working on. So that's just kind of an easy way to for the students and also you if you wanted to check to see what their homework assignments are. So I also put a link here as well. So multiple places, but if for some reason you still don't have it, please email me, and I can send it out again. All right, so the next item for me to talk about is cell phones. Obviously, normally in the class, we would have a spot for them to put cell phones, but we don't this year. And so we're asking that the students put their phones, leave them in their locker, so either on off or vibrate, or they either keep them on them or maybe their pencil bag, so that way they can keep track of them. But we also ask if they're on vibrate and silent. If for some reason they're like pulling them out and trying to use them during class, texting, things like that, obviously the first time, then we'll just take it for the period and just remind them not to do that. The second time, we'll take it, we'll have it for the day, and then we will also email you and let you know that they were on their phone. And then the third one, then it goes to the office and then they take care of that. So I will tell you, we didn't really have any phone issues whatsoever. I think this is more so like a 7th and 8th grade kind of a thing where they're more on their phones than our 6th graders, but we just want to make sure that you knew that. So if we emailed you, that they were on the phone or something, then they can check their phone during passing periods. So if there's something that you need to, they need to check or something, that's fine, but just not in the class. So anyway, I think that's all that I'm supposed to share. So here we go. And Mr. Howard. Oh, Howard, you're muted.
All right, I'm back. I thought I'd show you what I kind of look like with the map. Yeah, it's kind of a scary looking thing. Some of the kids ask me to put it back on when I take it off. So I kind of get what the kids are going through coming to the elementary. And that was the last thing they saw was our faces, the teachers' faces, and then coming to school with a bunch of teachers with masks. So we try to take them outside if we can once in a while so they can see our faces. But attendance, this is kind of coming down from the state. They are really wanting us to take attendance from home. We need to prove that our kids are at home working, and the kids are doing a really great job for us this year. They're doing attendance as soon as they wake up and checking into all their classes and looking at their homework and what to do during that day. I would encourage you as parents to make sure that they kind of stay on a routine Monday through Friday, waking up at a normal time, doing their classwork, trying to get it done. I think most kids are probably finishing around noon or 1 by the time they wake up. So that's kind of a good thing. We do ask, though, if your child does sleep in and they kind of are getting some extra Z's that morning, that they have their attendance done by 1:30. Occasionally see us remind them or tag you with a friendly reminder to make sure they do attendance. Again, this kind of helps us keep in line with what the state's asking us to do. There'll be no Google Live meets for our classes. So in other words, the days that they are home is kind of a reinforcement of what they learned the day before, or a pre-taught lesson of what they're going to see. When we would meet with the kids at home, would be the kids that are at home in the afternoon. They could set up a Zoom time to meet with us and we could talk with them. That's probably the most important thing to know. We're willing to work with your child from home without a mask over the internet, and they can kind of see our friendly faces, if you will. Students remember to email the teacher's schedule to schedule this meeting. So they just can't ask for a Zoom meeting that day. The teachers might not be ready for it. So they need to reach out to that teacher as soon as they can so the teacher can kind of schedule a meeting with them. All right?
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Miller Madness, that's with PTO. They asked us to put out a blurb for us. As you can read, this is the only fundraiser they do. In the past, we would go outside and go for a walk and do dunk tanks and things like that. But because of what we've been dealt with this year, we can't do that. So fundraiser will be online this year. And you can look forward to an email with a link from us or the PTO or the principal, secretary. It should be coming out soon. And we encourage you to donate. These donations help buy science supplies, field trips, new equipment, things that we can use within our team to help our kids become better learners. So we'll send you out an email with that later.
Okay. I guess this is my slide. I'm going to go ahead and take over. Again, I'm Mr. Shelp, teaching science on Glacier Bay. I'm going to talk to you about if your child wakes up and doesn't feel well at home. So we're trying really hard to keep your children safe here at school and healthy. And we're enforcing a lot of procedures from the state and from our school. So we'd like for you to join us in trying to keep your kids as healthy as possible. If your child wakes up and is not feeling well and has a fever of 100 degrees Fahrenheit or more, or they're showing symptoms outlined in the COVID guidelines and expectation agreement that's listed here, please don't send your students to school and have them work virtually from home. And if they are working from home, they should be working on their house information, not going back and forth, just working from home as if they were at school, doing as much as possible. We understand they won't be able to do everything since they're not at school, but we will excuse them for the things that we understand they can't do, and we expect them to complete the things that they can do. And we're obviously there for your children, and if they have any questions, they can email us. We do require that students wash their hands throughout the day. We're very diligent about that. They wash their hands before lunch. They wash their hands after lunch, during passing periods. The teachers are sanitizing the desk with sanitizer that we've been given. So each desk gets wiped down before the next student takes their seat. And the quarantine of students, again, as I mentioned earlier, if they are at home, we do expect them to complete as much work as possible. We know it's not ideal. We don't have any extra lessons or special lessons at this time for quarantine students, but what we will post, we'll be considering that information going forward. Your kids are doing an absolute amazing job with wearing masks. We wear one every day, all day long, Monday through Friday. And the students that come in, they have been doing a wonderful job wearing them. We really appreciate that. Make sure, if you could, that the students come to school with a mask that fits properly. There are a few students that are still having issues. Their nose is being exposed a little bit, and we have to twist the ties on the side to tighten them up a little bit for them. But they're not asking for breaks or anything, and nor will we be giving any mask breaks to the students. But if they are uncomfortable in their mask or they're having anxiety or anything, we will allow them to use the restroom where they can take off their mask for a moment. We have 50-minute class periods, so as we're in there, we expect them to be in class as much as possible. And we also ask you that if you wouldn't mind, as they bring their mask home daily, either exchange it with a clean one that hasn't been worn yet or wash the one that you have. We have several masks that we use, so we're always exchanging and washing masks at our home. And we just like for you to do the same and be courteous of all the students in the classroom as we are respecting them as well. We haven't had this issue, but if there is a situation where students refuse to wear their mask, we've been told to send it to the administration and they'll handle that. So far, we haven't had those issues. Kids haven't asked for mask breaks. They've been very good about just sitting there and participating. Today, we went outside in science class and they were able, and they didn't even take off their masks then, and nor did I. So the masks don't seem to be an issue, and they seem to be a real safety thing. And I think it makes the kids feel pretty safe and secure at school. We also ask that, and this sounds a little weird, but we want your kids not to share this year. We always have been about sharing at school, but this year we would like for your student or your child to have their own school supplies, and those school supplies will be theirs to use, and they won't be asked to share them, obviously because of the pandemic that's going on. So when they come to school, they should bring their own supplies, hall passes, if they need to use the restroom and things like that, or they have emergencies. We'll let them go out to their lockers, only about 2 at a time. We have 2 passes per classroom. But outside of that, we're limiting students in the hallway, cross-contaminating. The lockers are spread out, so your child is going every other locker. The bathrooms are separated, so only 2 teams are using 1 set of bathrooms. The other 2 6th grade teams are using another set of bathrooms. Our supplies are pretty limited. So sometimes we might ask students to have something and the student might say, I don't have that. And we're glad to share our stuff and then we'll clean it. But if you are in a situation where you can't find materials in the store anymore or you don't have them, just ask your child or email us and let us know. And we'll be glad to supply your child with as much supplies as we can. In the past, food has been something that we've enjoyed in the classroom, but obviously with COVID, we can't do that anymore. So we are eliminating food. There will be no food permitted in the classroom. We will allow them to chew bubble gum if they choose to do that, if that's something that they enjoy. We also allow them to have water bottles. They can be just a regular plastic throwaway, recycle, please, bottle, or it could be a large personal water bottle that they have. And they can drink that throughout the day, just kind of lifting their mask just ever so slightly to take a drink. We also ask that if they do bring their own bottles, that you do take them home or have them send them home and wash them, clean them out before the next day, as we do with our stuff as well.
I just wanted to chime in very quickly on what Mr. Shelp was talking about. With supplies, please make sure they're labeled because I can already tell you right now on my back table, I have a gray sweater, I have a box of colored pencils, I have a pen, I have a mask extender, and I think something else. And there's no names, and I keep asking, and none of the kids are claiming them, and I know they're there. So if your child is missing a gray sweater or colored pencils or an extra pen or a mask extender, they're probably in my room, and they don't have a name, so I can't give them back to them. So please make sure that they've labeled their things. And if any of those items are theirs, have them come see me and I will give them to them. So anyway, so I just want to make sure that things are labeled so we can give them back to the students. So anyway.
Great point. Thank you.
Hey, can I chime in really quick?
Please.
At the top where it says come prepared and leave prepared, just encourage your child to make sure that they are taking home everything that they would need if we would for some reason get a call saying that we're not allowed back in the building. So we've had a couple of issues, not necessarily on this team, but a couple other teams where kids are leaving their iPads in their lockers. So, you know, if something would happen and we'd get a call the night before saying we're not allowed back in the building, they're not going to have their iPads, which means they're not going to be able to do the work that they're supposed to be doing at home.
Thank you, Mrs. Candid. That's a great point. So when we look at the supply list, we expect that your child will have an iPad that is fully charged at the beginning of each day. We would like them to carry a pencil pouch with them that contains the following earbuds, because we like to keep the noise down in the classroom when we're showing YouTube videos, or the kids might be reading online books, things like that. Pencils and pen, they should have those with them. We're trying to make sure that everything is, as much as possible, is done online, so they don't have paper copies of things that would then obviously carry perhaps COVID. So we want to keep things as paperless as possible. Colored pencils, they should have their own sharpener so that they're not getting out of their seats. They're supposed to stay seated during the class period. A small bottle of hand sanitizer is always a great thing to have. You can never have too much of that. A notebook and folder for every class. So if we do happen to need to use a paper copy of something, they'll have their own individual folder to keep it in. The notebook, we do use Notability for a lot of notes online, but the notebook would be something that they could have as well. And then I got to move my screen for this last one, but 2 composition notebooks for language arts. Do you want to talk about that at all, Mrs. McKean?
I told the kids, it was originally on the list, and ideally I would like the composition notebooks, but some of the kids said, oh, we just have spirals. That's okay. Some of them already just started using the spiral for my class. So if your child does not have that, but they have a spiral that is designated specifically for my class, that's okay. In a non-COVID year, I'd be a little more, I guess, specific about it. But if your child has I'm more concerned that they have a notebook designated for not only my class, but they should have one designated for everybody's class. So yeah, don't run out and buy 2 if your child doesn't already have them, I guess.
If they need them, just send us an email. We'll supply them for you. All right, and I believe I'm finished with my part of the speech. I'll pass it on to Mrs. McKean.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to talk to you guys about Power School. Within my class, the first week of school, I made sure that every kid had Power School the app on their iPad. Sometimes their iPad gets wiped or they get signed out, and then that Power School code is what you sometimes need. And as a parent too, if you for some reason get signed out, that BPZX. So if you can put that maybe in a note in your phone or something like that, just in case you ever get signed out. Their Power School is where you go to see your child's current grades. All of us are good about updating our grades. Canvas is not a great place, is not the place to check your child's grades. There are things in there, we put pre-tests in there. We put some things that aren't for a grade in there. So it's just not an accurate reflection of your child's grade. Power School is it. So you're going to see on your parent view, there's the 2 big things that you should kind of look for, those missing symbols. It's yellow. That means we don't have that assignment. A 0 is put in there, but obviously once your child turns it in, then that changes to whatever grade they got, and then it'll change to red. That means late. In 6th grade, there is no penalty for late assignments, like sometimes in high school, they take 10% off a day or something like that. There's no penalty. It's just so you know as a parent that it was turned in late. And we can kind of see as teachers if there's a pattern of any sort with the late assignments. But there is no, like I said, penalty for late assignments. You'll notice if there's a comment, sometimes I will put a comment in there like, this was a retake, or this was after the 2nd time they took the test. If you guys can try, if there's any other comments that you guys put in, but that's usually what I'll use the comments for, is this was your child's 2nd attempt or something of that nature. Or if they have a low grade, I might say in a comment like, your child can redo this. And in my class, if they get a grade, especially on a classwork assignment or a writing assignment, if they want to redo it for a better grade, they absolutely can. You may see incomplete, and that, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory that it's incomplete. If you see collected, that might be something that we didn't want to take for a grade, but we needed to make sure that we received it.
Mrs. McKean, I'll chime in on that one real quick with you. If you are submitting, if your child's submitting a late assignment into Canvas, it's very important that they also email the teacher that they submitted it. We do not get warnings from Canvas that their assignment was submitted late. So please remind your child, if they're turning in something late, to also email the teacher as well.
Yes, I agree. And sometimes we'll get an email, that says I submitted that assignment, but it still shows that it's missing in Canvas. Well, sometimes that is true. So sometimes it'll be, yes, either they didn't let us know or we haven't gotten to it yet. But more often than not, there's no submission there. So if your child tells you that, you can always go into Canvas, look at the assignment and see if there actually is something submitted there. So sometimes your child might submit my assignment accidentally in Mrs. Hendricks' class. So things like that happen where they think that they submitted it, but, mistakes happen, like I accidentally submitted it in the wrong class, the wrong assignment, whatever. So that just double checking and saying, okay, we'll show me where you submit it. And then if they do, you say, okay, well, now you need to email Mrs. Hendricks, Mrs. McKean, Mr. Howard, Mr. Shelp, and let them know that you submitted that and if they could please update your grade. So.
Now, I know it's not your child, but it is some children out there that they'll just submit something so they can show you that they did it, and they just submit blank papers or just something so they can go out and play or whatever. So please make sure that when they do submit something, they're submitting the correct thing and it's done to the best of their ability.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm just going to take it from here for just a few minutes. I'm not really going to talk about these slides, but we know that obviously some of the kids, when they're at home, might be having some problems with Canvas. So here are just some slides. So this one just talks about how you can sign up for an observer to actually watch your child in Canvas. So this is good because you also get some of the notifications that your child gets. You can kind of see what they're doing, what's going on. So we do recommend you observing your actual child if you would like to. So if you need some more help, there is the email for Travis Penn for you to email as well if you're having a difficult time at home with something. So there's a good email for you. The student tech help, the students have a tech help button. So if there's problems with their iPad, broken screen, won't charge, I don't know, lots of issues. The students have a button on their iPad to fill out. They have to schedule an appointment. So anyway, so they can do that. And I've walked them through that, talked them through that. They should know how to do that. Here are some other troubleshooting tips, more tips to help if there's problems, and even more tips if they're still having issues. If all else fails, gives you some more information to kind of help you with the help desk. And then finally, contact us. So whenever you have a question, you can obviously just email us. Like I told you before, I said, we're all in this together. So we need to be, patient and flexible with us, with you, with the kids, and know that and everything's fluid. And I guess I just want to say that, we're trying it. I mean, this is a hybrid schedule. Nobody has done this before. So we are trying our best to find out what's going to work for us and what's working for you and for the kids. And if we find something isn't working, we're going to try to switch it and try to make it better. So anyway, just, be patient, be flexible, communicate. That's the biggest thing that I can say is just communicate. Reach out to us. Hey, we're struggling. My child isn't getting this, or, whatever. Or, hey, doing a great job. Like, I don't know. But anyway, we just know that we're here for you. We're here for the kids. But anyway, the last part of this, so that's kind of the end of the PowerPoint. So you guys all have that. I sent it to you. So right now I'm going to, now we're going to kind of go through our Canvas pages, because everybody's wondering, well, what in the world do we do with the kids? And so right here, when the kids get onto Canvas, this is my homepage. And so as you can see, it talks about social studies, a little bit about me. And then the kids, when they come into my room or they're at home, if they're doing their at-home assignments, they come down here where it says choose your house. Also down below has all this information about how to, oh, I was trying to make it bigger, but anyway, it's got some contact information and things like that. But the students will come in and they'll click. So I'm just going to click on Miller's because that's for tomorrow. So they're going to come in and click on the Miller house. And then when they click on the Miller house, it's going to bring them here. And then you'll notice that every week is dated. So my kids, when they come into me, they get a 2-day lesson. So you can see this is the week of, so this also helps if your child is absent or they've missed something or they're not sure where they need to go. Everything is completely dated by weeks and also by days. So like right now, this is our current week. Our current week will always be on the top and the current day will always be on top.
Wait, hold on. It's like wrapped around.
Someone had their button on, I believe.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought somebody said something. So anyway, so Tuesday, Wednesday. So if they needed something, they could go to Tuesday, Wednesday. So tomorrow is going to be Thursday. So they're going to click on this link. And then when they come into my Canvas page, they're going to notice that obviously there's going to be an objective. This is what I want them to do for bell work. This is our lesson for tomorrow. So you can see what they're going to be doing in my class. Now, what's different about mine is because mine's a 2-day lesson. This is their lesson they get from me, and then this is their homework. This homework is what they do on Friday. So this is my Thursday lesson, and then this is the continuation of what they do on Friday. So it is there. I already talked them through it. They already know what they need to do. And then that way, it seems to be, for me, less communication because I've explained it to the kids. The kids know it. We've moved things over into Notability. So we're trying that. Like I said, it's flexible and fluid. I'm trying it to see if it works. It seems to be working. The kids tell me that it's working. So we're going to keep it for right now. So anyway, that's my Canvas page. If anybody is like at home, meaning we know with contact tracing or you're in isolation for 10 or 14 days, and the kids are asking us, well, what am I supposed to be doing? Because I'm actually supposed to be in school, but I can't be in school. Then we're going to say this exactly. So they would be sitting down, even if they were not in my classroom, but at home, then they would read the objective. They would do the bell work at home. They would do the lesson at home. And then if they have any questions, this is again, that communication piece. They need to email us and say, hey, I'm confused. I looked at this. I'm not sure what I need to do, so that we can, reach out to them and kind of help them. So again, that's my Canvas page and how it works. And the kids know how to do it and how to access it. And the at-home extension is always the next day's work. So I wanted to explain that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And then looks like, all right. And Mr. Howard should be up.
Okay, so I want to tell you again how great our kids are this year. They are doing a wonderful job. It's tough this year, but we're super proud of them. I know one of my mottos is attitude is everything.
You ready?
Be nice. So if you can keep a positive attitude in front of your child, they will have a positive attitude coming into school. If you have an issue with something, just let us know. We'll help you work through it. But please remember to try to keep a positive attitude about school. One of the big things I like about it is I have smaller classes inside the classroom. It's not 35 kids. So having 12 to 15 kids, there's a lot more discussion and they have to all discuss. So nobody can kind of hide and be shy in the classroom. Everybody gets to participate. So that's kind of fun. I really like that a lot. Here's my Canvas page. Very plain. But again, you'll see the Miller and West. If your child's in Miller, they'll click here, West here. Probably the biggest thing that's different is if you look at course resources, here is where anybody, they can click on this and they can find that link that shows all our homework. They've downloaded, they made a button, but if they lose it, they can find it right here. They can find our Glacier-based schedule. They can find our Chapter 1 book, our Chapter 1 workbook. If you're in periods 1 and 2, the workbook has been sent home with you. You're to keep it home and work out of it. There's been nothing assigned in it. If you're in period 3 and 4, we're debating on which workbook to use right now. So again, please be patient with that. Here are my contact numbers if you need to reach out. Calling is really not a good idea. Try to, just email me, leave me a message. I'll get back to you as soon as possible, usually within the day or night. So please just shoot me an email and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Let's just go here. So kids in West, if they click here, it'll take them to the West House. And if you notice, there's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. This is kind of good because I got to remember what day it is. I'll have some kids go, well, I clicked on the Canvas page and nothing was there, Mr. Howard. And I said, well, today's Monday, not Thursday. And they go, oh, yeah. So make sure they click on the right day, and you can see it's just a friendly reminder of what they're doing. Again, Mrs. Hendricks said if they're home due to COVID-related things and they're supposed to be at school, they still need to click on the day it is. So today was Wednesday. So they click on Wednesday. And here you'll find a schedule, what they have to do. Every kid in my class will do attendance first. Then they have things, anything Colts Blue, they need to remember to do that. If I want them to turn something in, they'll click on a thing that will say submit here. If I don't want it, I won't have a submit button on the page. But again, this is step-by-step what they need to do. I want to point out the big thing, they can use the arrow button to go back. And then if they need to get to a past assignment, they look in Power School and see that they owe me something in week 2, August 10th. There's a link right here and they can click on that and that'll take them back to that page. Again, everything's pretty straightforward. In Power School, I do things by date, so they'll be able to find the assignment or what Canvas page they need to get there. If they need help navigating that, I can do that. I want to point out one last big thing. Math does grades 75% assessments, 25% homework. And my assessments are usually paper pencil, but they can be verbal, they can be a project, they can be quizzes. Given the time frame that we're in and everything, there'll probably be more quizzes than actual tests. As a math department, we're kind of talking about, instead of doing big unit tests, breaking it up a little bit, if you will. So just bear with us. Again, I look forward to working with your kids. I'm available a lot of times. I'll Zoom with them, I'll call them, I'll help them on email. So please reach out, especially if you're not that good at math, or they just don't want to work with you. They say, Mr. Howard explains it better. Well, send them my way. That's what I get paid for. That's what I'm here for. Enjoying them a lot. Again, thank you very much. If you have further questions, shoot me an email. Thank you, Mrs. Hendricks.
So let me open up my
See,
page.
be patient. We figured it out. We're all good.
So here's my Canvas page, and students will get on it and they'll start by choosing their assigned house. So they'll pick Miller's or West. And since they went Miller's West, I'll go Miller's again. So they'll have a picture here, and then Monday through Friday will be listed. If it's in Colts Blue, then that means that it's active. If it's in black still, that means we haven't got to that day in the week yet. So they would just click on a day, it would open up, and it would have my objectives. It would have a way they take attendance here. And as Mr. Howard was mentioning earlier, here's the here button that they would click on to submit the answer to the question. And then there would be a homework assignment down here for them, and also a here button for them to submit their work. I'll utilize the back button, as Mr. Howard mentioned earlier. We'll take back to my home screen. We scroll down, the essential question for this section is, what is science? Have the daily schedule here. Underneath it, we have our link to our homework that we talked about, the Google Doc. All of the reading essentials are listed here. And then my contact information is at the bottom. And as Mr. Howard mentioned, the reason we don't usually like the phone calls is because it rings in our classroom and we're usually gone by then, or we're teaching, and we don't get back to you until the following day. But if you email, we'll be checking that at night. So we'll get back to you quicker on email than we would on phone call. So on the side here, as I mentioned again, the module button at the top, if you click on that, you'll see the Miller House. And all of these are pages that we've had since the first day of school all the way up until today. And then down below is the West House. And we'll start from the first day of school when we had a Google Meet. When the kids couldn't come to school on that first day, they were home. We went ahead and met with them. And then all the way up until today when we had a Mentos demonstration in my class. And that's all I really have to share. I'm going to keep it short and sweet and pass it on to Mrs. McKean.
All right, so if you stop sharing,
Yes,
there we go. And hopefully this is gonna be a smooth transition
it
here.
will be. It'll be great.
Mhm.
No, okay, no, I figured I have to go reclaim host. There we go. Now I've got this.
Good.
All right, make host. All right, Ms. McKean, you are up.
All right. So I will share my screen. I will try to be quick here so you guys can get back to your evenings. Okay, why can't I see? Hold on, I gotta pull this down a little bit. Okay, so mine pretty much looks like everybody else's. I have language, your child will see one or the other. I told the kids, if your child is seeing a to-do list like this, where it has a checklist, some of the kids are seeing this, and then they're confused because they're just seeing like their tasks with no explanation, no pages. So if you ever see where your child's homepage is just like a to-do list, you want to change it back to card view. And I told the kids, but you know, just in case they weren't there or whatever, because that some kids were saying, all I can see is your assignment and no direction. So they want to make sure that they're looking like this. So if you click on my course, mine looks just like everybody else's. But I want to go down to my resources. We're going to use the literature book sometimes, that's there. We use Scope magazine, which is awesome. I love it. And they get an actual magazine every month, and then they have access to it online. So there is how to do that. A lot of your kids have already been doing a great job of getting books either from our library at West. Here's the tutorials on how to check out books from West, and a lot of kids have already done that. I do require that they have an independent reading book for my class. So they have a couple options. They can check out a book here. I also taught them, and I sent an email out too, on how to use the Hamilton County Public Library's app, which is the Libby app. It's a purple little circle, looks, I don't know that you're gonna be able to tell that, sorry. But they're allowed to listen to audiobooks. They are allowed to use just regular digital books, or like I said, books from home or books from our library. So at this point, I think I've got pretty much everybody where they have something either on their iPad or an actual physical book for my class. So those resources are important. Down here's my contact information. Here's again the Glacier Bay Daily News link, what they need. Like Andy said, I think if they're looking for an assignment, clicking on assignments over here is good. Pages, they'll all be there as well.
Grades is also good.
Grades.
If they just want a grade for an individual assignment that they turned in Canvas, they can check it there.
Yeah, so just looking for, so I always tell kids, like if a page isn't loading, try to go to pages, all pages. They can sometimes find it there. So using some of these like quick links over here is helpful in navigation. But mine, it looks the same. So I just have boxes with the dates, and I name my page whatever we're doing that day. We just got done with NWEA. So they just click on the link and everything is there. So whenever they are at home, I break it down by steps, and then they just got to scroll all the way to the bottom. So I always have step 1, step 2, step 3. But that's pretty much it. And then I think I can't encourage you enough to be an observer of your child. I'm my own child. He's now in 5th grade and he's using Canvas more, and I'm an observer of him. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. As a parent, I get to see, if he turns something in, I get a notification. If the teacher grades something, I get a notification. So I just like it from a parent standpoint too, that I feel in the loop when following my child. So I would encourage you to do that.
And
then,
Mrs. McKean, if you become an observer in one class, you're observer in all. Is that correct?
yes. So yeah, my kids are both in HSC, so they're 100% virtual right now. And so my kindergartner, I'm following him too. And then you follow all their DAs, their specials. Yep, you have access to everything. So I'm seeing, when I'm at work, I'm seeing notifications of what their math assignment is, what their, music assignment is. So I just find it really helpful. If there's announcements.
And Susan or Abby, how are we going to get that contact? So if they need to know how to become an observer.
Well, it's in
It's already there.
And I attached it to an email that I sent out, but if you want it, just reach out to one of us and I can send it to you. It's a PDF on how to do it. So
Well,
if
Campus
anybody,
Observer is already on the slides that we sent. I sent home to the parents.
Yes.
It's right under Canvas. It says how to be a Canvas parent observer.
Okay,
And
and
if
if
you
you
have any-
need that contact, we'll get you another one.
yeah, if you need any help with it, it sometimes is a little tricky, especially if you have 2 kids. I did run into that issue a little bit. So I can troubleshoot with you if you need that. Like I said, the only trouble I had was when I had already done my 5th grader and then I was trying to set up my kindergartner and I had a little bit of trouble, but I can help you with that now that I've done it. So.
Well,
Hey, I
between
want
all
to
4 of
chime in.
us,
Oh,
between
sorry,
all 4 of
Michelle.
us, I'd just like to say that we have 90 years of classroom experience with all of our parents as well. So we thank you for sending your kids to school with us and trusting us with your kids. So we know that's a big deal, especially now. But we are wanting to partner with you. So it should be a group effort. It should be us and the parents together for the good of your child. We want them to succeed. We're one of their biggest fans, and we're here to help you. We just need to know what you need and what you're looking for. And they're getting more responsible. We want to put more advocacy on them, and so ask them to reach out to us as well. But we're off to a great start. I just like to say that. So thank you.
And if I did forget one thing about books, because I was like, oh, I had 3 options. They can also check out books from me, from my classroom library, which kids have done. And I have a very simple system. They take out the book. I take a picture of them with my iPad holding the book. When they return it, I delete the picture. So the kids have been awesome about one way or another getting a book in their hands that they enjoy reading. And I can't reiterate enough. If they're reading something and enjoying it, I don't care if it's a graphic novel. I don't care if it's a newspaper, a magazine, an audiobook. Reading is reading, and I'm happy with whatever form it comes in. So some kids are like, I'm allowed to, listen to an audiobook. I'm like, yes, that's reading. So if your child is reading and interested in something, I'm happy. So just want to, I don't care about what level it is or the Lexile, just as long as they're reading is what I care about.
And I wanted to chime in one last thing. Thank you very much for sharing your kids with us. They are our kids for life now. We invest our heart and soul in these kids, and we take care of them throughout the whole middle school and constantly check on them throughout life. The 4 of us are elementary teacher licensed. We know where they're coming from and what they're doing. We all 4 of us can help in any subject matter. We've all taught everything. So we understand this transition is big on some kids. It's smooth on others. We're here for them, and we're here to make it successful to them, no matter what the circumstances. So we love them. They're great. And we're looking forward to this wonderful year. Thank you.
Susan, take us home.
All right, I'll take you home. All right, just want to say thanks again so much for spending your evening with us. I know 6 to 7 was a long time to give up for your, time out of your day, and so we appreciate you spending it with us. Again, off to a great start. So thank you again for making it a smooth transition. Communication, again, can't say that enough. So just reach out to us if you need something. Again, if it's team related, parent conference, things like that, send it to me. If it's obviously subject related, please send it to the appropriate teacher so they can get a response to you. Also have your child check their email periodically through the day if they're at home. Sometimes we send announcements and things like that to give them some updates or, hey, reminders like you didn't do attendance, things like that. So don't just check it first thing in the morning, but have them check it periodically throughout the day. And finally, if there are any questions, we might not have answered something. We tried our best to try to answer all of the questions, but if for some reason we did not and there is a question you have, please email me, and then we will get that answer to you or try to the best of our ability. So I want to say thanks again. We're going to go ahead and sign off. Appreciate you being with us, and have a great night.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Stay safe and healthy. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.